Anyway, here we go. And Wendy and Dana, I don't see Dana there, but I'm sure she's
Dana
there.
is actually on vacation, so I'm flying solo today.
You're flying solo. Okay, if you need me to do anything, I can watch the chat box. And I didn't realize you were flying solo. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm on my own today, girls
turning
and
it
boys.
over to Wendy. Be gentle on her. She's all alone.
I'm all by myself out here.
All right, have fun.
All right, so welcome to Positive Mornings. I'm so excited to see you all here today. Last time we were talking about bridging really difficult conversations, and we did our first sort of breakout room. And we got a lot of feedback that you all loved the opportunity to really dive into this stuff with one another. And we are going to do that again today. We're going to do this a little bit differently for a couple of reasons that I'll talk about as I move on. The first of them, though, is that in order to give you enough time to dive in with each other and then come back and report back, we don't have enough time in an hour to then have a conversation. And I know that it's the conversation that's really important. So I've sort of changed the way you're going to talk in your breakout group today. It's going to be more about you. And so, oh my God, look at all the emails. You all want to know each other. I love this. It's like flying up the chat.
No, but that's what's great, guys. So just
Right?
click, get yourself a little, you can put a sticky up and just click and copy and click and paste. So
It's amazing.
But
It's
you'll also,
amazing.
this'll, I'm just trying to think, Marissa, figure out how everybody will see this. I guess you can copy it down right here. So we'll figure it out.
Okay. So you're going to talk a little bit more about yourselves in our group today. And then when we come back, rather than having a reporting, we're going to discuss the question. It's actually two questions from the breakout room as a group, as we always do. And you can put your comments in the chat, or you can put me if you want to speak up. So this way we can come back into the room and have a really rich discussion about what happened out in that breakout room and still have time. So as promised, I looked again at what you all were talking about, what you reported back in your breakout rooms last time. And I'll just remind you guys of those notes. How do you respect the person that you're talking with when you absolutely, at your core, disagree with them? It's really hard to bridge these conversations when you're feeling like you're accused. You talked about how important it is to notice your own and others' nonverbal cues and language. You talked about compassion and justice, about actually reaching out and seeking the opinions of other people, doing that listening. I love that a comment was made that as we were talking about that, the person from Canada who could give us an outside opinion on this topic didn't get a chance to talk. So that was the feedback from this group. And it kind of breaks down into sort of two different areas. This looking within, right? How am I showing up in this conversation? What language am I using? What nonverbal cues am I giving? What are the thoughts about myself? Am I feeling accused? Am I feeling just angry because I disagree? That sort of looking within. And then the external factor of what's this other person bringing to the table? So both of those were what you were talking about. And of course, those are the critical components of any difficult conversation. So I wanted to take a little bit of a different spin on that today. And I want to talk about you and where you are in your life. Because we've got difficult conversations. We're in a really difficult, interesting space in the world right now. It's why Positive Mornings is happening, right? That's what this came from, this really unique time in the world where there's a lot of conflict and a great deal of challenge, and we're all learning to process it while we are simultaneously trying to lead our best version of our own life, right? This one chance that we get to lead our own life is happening concurrent with all of this stuff in the world. And so how do we navigate that? And so I want to talk today about the hero's journey. We're going to use the element of, I don't know if any of you have ever read the book by Joseph Campbell or taken any courses on storytelling or story writing. Movies use it. It is a classic way of looking at the trials and tribulations of humankind. And I'm going to share my screen with you for a minute, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with this. So I'm just going to let you look at this. There are a million different things out there, images, graphics that show the hero's journey. This was a really simple one, and in the interest of time, I thought I'd just break it out for you. So for each of us, we're all living this hero's journey, right? We start out in our ordinary space. Step one, this is the safe place where we start, right? We feel kind of cozy. We feel everything's good. Next comes this call to adventure. And sometimes it's thrust upon us because of something that happens in the world, or it can come from an inner yearning or a dissatisfaction with our current life, right? You can see every book you've ever read, every movie you've ever watched follows this. Then there's the refusal of the call to action. Here's where we're scared out of our wits and we doubt whether we have the capacity or whether we deserve it or whether we're worthy of it or if it's even possible or if it's realistic. We refuse this call to adventure. Then comes some kind of meeting with the mentor. Now comes some kind of inspiration. We read a book, we go on a webinar, we come to Positive Mornings, we meet a friend, we have a conversation that inspires us to say, okay, maybe I need to take this journey. And the next step is that cross of the threshold. Okay, sometimes we're willing and we do it on our own. Sometimes somebody gives us a nudge or a shove, or we get fired, right? And we're forced to cross the threshold. But this is the first time we're leaning into this new space. And then now we're in the thick of it. We're in a new world, not our ordinary world. And new tests come and we meet new friends and we meet new foes. And we're challenged, right? We're challenged because we're needing to behave in ways that meet this new world, not our safe, cozy world of the past. Okay. From there, approach to the innermost cave. What this is that moment of thinking, okay, I'm at the precipice of making a big leap. If I do this next thing, parts of my old life disappear. I become a solopreneur. So I'm no longer this. Or my friends and I don't really connect anymore. I'm moving into a new friend group. This is like a tiny death. And it is necessary in order for us to be reborn into this new sense of ourselves. Okay. And as we do that, now we face a big ordeal, right? We start to be challenged. And now I'm in a new space. I'm operating with new behaviors. And from that, we start to get rewards, right? Something goes well in the hero's journey. Oh, that wasn't so bad. This person who I thought was terrifying actually likes and respects me. Oh, I sold a piece of pottery that I made. There's a reward for going through this ordeal. And now we don't leave our old life behind, that ordinary world. Now we make our way back into it, right? And as we move back into our world, we start to notice again how changed we are, how different we are. And in this resurrection and return period to the ordinary world, it's a coming to terms with who you were and who you are right now, and finding the bravery to stay as you are, this new, more powerful, more evolved self in your old world, right? In the world as it continues to exist, because everybody's on their own hero's journey. Okay. So you can imagine that each of us is going through this process. You're here because you're called to something more than what's around you. And it's scary. And everyone is doing that. We're all doing that at the same time that the world is posing its challenges. So we're going to break out into groups. Okay. And Marissa has for you those 12 steps of the hero's journey, just as a reference point, because I know I flew through it with a little like one sentence or a couple of words that describes what each step is. When you go into your breakout group, what I'd like you to talk about is where you are in your hero's journey. Don't overthink this. Go around your group. This part should take about a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm not sure how many people are in the group, right? Okay, I think I'm like just putting my toe in the water into something new, or I haven't even gotten started yet, or I'm about to come back into my life. Go around the room, whatever your gut says, that's fine. Get a bead on one another. Take the temperature of the room. Where are you on your hero's journey? And then the discussion that I'd like you to have is, what are the challenges that you're each facing right now? And you can go around your group and do it one by one, or you can do it as a conversation. That's completely up to you. What are the challenges in your hero's journey right now? And then when we come back into the room, we're going to have a conversation as one big group about it, where you'll be able to put your thoughts, insights, ideas into the chat, or put me if you want to have the conversation live. Questions from anybody before we break out? I know I said a lot really quickly, but I want to give you time to dive in with one another and then all of us together. Okay, so Marissa's going to pop you into your breakout rooms. You are going to have 15 minutes today, because we really want you to have this conversation, and we'll still have a good 15 to 20 minutes to talk about it when we come back out. All right, kids, have fun, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hi.
They're back.
See you. They're all back.
Here they come.
I love it. Can't hear you, Meow. Woo! Oh my God.
A newcomer today. Very excited.
Oh, good.
Here they all come.
Oh my God, everybody, here they all come. This is so much fun.
Robin, you're so tan.
Where's Robin? I don't see her. Wave, Robin.
I was at the beach a couple days.
Oh, there you are.
You look kissed by the sun. Liz O'Neill loves the breakout session format. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, good. Great.
It was good.
That's what I love about it.
Sandy says it's great. We're sorry that you have to leave early too, Sandy.
Bummer. Great. Excellent. That's the whole idea, Alexander, is to get to know everybody better.
So I didn't look at the numbers, Marissa. Are we all back in the room?
It looks like it.
Okay. Welcome back from your breakouts. I want to talk to you. I want to hear what an intelligent, amazing group of people. Yeah. So let's have a conversation. What are the challenges about being on a hero's journey in 2020? If you have insights, as always, go ahead and put them in the chat. If you want to speak to the room, please put me. We want to hear your voices. What are the challenges of your hero's journey? Alexander.
All right. So what I noticed in the group, we're at that threshold of crossing over to the special world. And what struck to me when I shared the group is, because in that special world is coming across allies. And I know I've been kind of want to create that team, where we're pursuing the same thing. And I know that part has been challenging for me to reach out to people for support. I think that was my probably biggest problem. Like I have this story that I gotta figure this out on my own. I guess being a husband and a provider is like, this is on me to figure it out.
Yeah. So not me, because I don't want to confuse the people who want to talk. Anybody who can relate to having a hard time asking for help on their journey, put a Y in the chat, just so that we can see how many people experience it. Yeah. You have a Y from me also. It's a huge thing. It's really hard to ask for help, and not until we realize that we need allies can we move forward onto the next stage. Sigrid has something to share with us. Where are you, Sigrid? Oh, there you are. You're still muted. Hang on. There we go.
I love the breakout groups, and somebody said it's a great way to get to know people a little more intimately, which I think is just so helpful. And there's so much universality in what we're feeling and experiencing. I don't feel like I'm in the threshold. I'm deep in the second portion. I've been doing this now for 10 years, but I have to continually redefine myself and manage my own expectations about how this is translating financially and in a practical way, because my heart has been opened up. I feel like I'm much more myself now than I was during the corporate years. I'm able to really follow my instincts in a way that I wasn't able to before, but I still have self-doubt. I still, I still worry that I'm going to disappoint or not live up to the expectations that people have of me. And I went from being a fashion designer to just kind of not completely abandoning that, but somewhat abandoning it, and moving into a spiritual life where I was taking women on yoga and art retreats. And so it's creative well-being. So it's creative, but it's not fashion design. And now I want to make some more products, but I want it to be integrated with my lifestyle. And that's a big ask of myself, and make it work financially. So all of those things really come down to believing that the steps that I'm taking can make it happen. And then of course you throw in a pandemic, and it is an obstacle, but B, also an excuse to not have it like be happening right now, or maybe not an excuse, but a real reason. So I can kind of back off of my go and just say, let it unfold, because there's nothing I can do to change the pandemic. So that's it in a nutshell for me.
Yeah. Really beautiful description of what the hero's journey looks like. And the thing that pops up for me here with you is that if you think about the heroes of even those of mythology, when they come back and they've completed their journey, they're not done.
Right.
There's no finish line to this. We're constantly pushing that pebble forward. So this is an ongoing cycle. I showed it to you, the hero's journey, in a linear way because it was quick and easy, but most of the images show this as a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is an ongoing journey. We continue to grow throughout our lifespan. The other thing that pops up here, Sigrid, is that when I love that you zeroed in on belief as the critical component of moving forward. And I think when we come to those points, and there will be lots of them, where belief and quote unquote reality tend to be in conflict, that's when it's most important to detach from specific outcomes. Because the belief will drive you through to the next reality. Sometimes we get too attached to making the money in this particular way or that way, or
Exactly.
make sense?
I sort of feel like I'm at a point in my life, and this is another belief that I have gained over the past decade, which is if I'm in alignment with my true self and my true passions and the things that bring me joy, that gives it power. That's the fuel that makes an idea really happen. And when it's not happening, or if it feels like it doesn't feel right, I'm not in alignment, and then it doesn't happen, it's like, duh, of course.
Exactly right. It's why we talk about our values so often in this group. That alignment drives everything. It drives our ability to believe in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much, Sigrid. That was really a rich insights. Bridget, I think that's who's next. Is that right?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, we talked about this idea of asking for help on ours as well. And for me, it's a big thing in my life because I was the, no, you don't need to help me. I'm independent and I can, until I was brought down on my knees by a loss of a job. And so I'm putting this quote in the chat. This is a Brene Brown quote, that until we can receive with an open heart, we are never really giving with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly or unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. And I think that that was true for me when I started asking for help when I needed it. I stopped feeling resistant and reticent when people asked me for help. And so I find that we as women, especially, we want to so be seen as not needing help. And yet, and I will say as a storytelling coach, when we look at the hero's journey, that mentor is not always a mentor. Sometimes it's a best friend. Sometimes it's a stranger who happens to say things. And you see this in movies and TV all the time, right? Finding the mentor. Sometimes it's the kooky sidekick is your mentor. That's how it plays out in films and television. So you have mentors and helpers in your life. And the question I would say, because I've had to ask this of myself, is how often do you actually ask them for help?
Thank you, Bridget. I love that quote, and it's really a perfect way to sum up this struggle that we have with independence for women and men, especially in this country and this culture. Independence is a very high value. I take care of myself. I take care of mine. I take care of my people. I do it. And it's 100% true that until we are open to receiving, until we are open to asking, not only do we not get what we need to move forward, but this other crazy thing happens. I love that you brought up, Bridget, that we have this underlying sort of judgment about giving help sometimes, even when we don't realize it. And until we're open to receiving, those of us who are born helpers get burnt out by that help. It becomes cumbersome. It becomes a place to hide, right? I'm giving. I'm hiding behind my giving. And until we're open to receive as well, that giving holds us in place. Both things need to be in line. Okay, we have time for one more meow.
Hi, morning, everyone. I love the quote Bridget shared because I have great difficulty asking for help. And the point is, I don't even realize that. I'm not even conscious of it. And on the contrary, I've been proud I can figure out everything on my own. And I've been doing that since I'm a little kid. And I'm the firstborn in my generation. So everyone come to me, everyone confide to me. I'm used to it. I virtually don't think other people can solve my problems. So I am going through this journey, and I realize I'm in the deep most of my inner cave, that I'm all here alone. I was asked by a newcomer in the breakout why we're here in this group. And I told her, first, it's because of the great subject and content we shared. It's always refreshing and renewal positive. from our leaders. And also because of this supportive community, you just constantly draw power and inspiration and strength from it to start every week. And so yesterday, I actually take my first action to proactively reach out to someone. I don't think I can get help. I was like, I'll just start. I'll just see what happens. And to my surprise, I got the response in basically an hour, and he offered to help with his calendar. So it happens if you give it a try, and certainly happened to me.
All right, thank you. That was the perfect final insight for today's conversation, because we're proud of ourselves when we do it for ourselves, right? And you're right, Meow, we don't realize, one, that we're not asking for help, and we don't realize that we kind of are judging the rest of the world as not as helpful to us as we are ourselves, right? Nobody can help me the way I can help myself. I've been doing it my whole life. We don't realize that. And these breakout groups and what happened here today, look at the collective wisdom of the people in this group. It's not me and Dana and Lesley as the gurus who hold the wisdom. The collective wisdom in this group is overwhelming, right? So it's a perfect example of what is out there when we open our eyes and see it and welcome it in. So I do have a little tool for you. It's more of a thinking tool than it is an actual tool this time, because I don't want us to let go of what we were talking about last time. How do we bridge those conversations that are difficult? How do we operate on our own hero's journey and still push the pebble forward in this world that's so challenging in ways that we feel are meaningful? How do those two things coexist? So I'm going to give you a little thinking challenge. I'm going to ask you to wear a pair of lenses this week to look at every single person that you see, whether you agree with them, whether you don't, whether you like them, whether you don't, and see them as the protagonist of their story, right? Every book you've read, every movie you've watched, we love the protagonist. Even the ones that are set up to be people we disagree with, once we get inside of their hero's journey, we root for them, right? And perhaps if we can start to recognize that every person that we see is the protagonist in their own hero's journey, some of that bridging might get a little bit easier. Just a thought. So thinking tool for this week. And we're going to, I feel like it's like all me, not back and forth. And now it's time for our meditation. So let's all get comfortable in our chairs and take a couple of deep breaths. Close your eyes if you'd like. Actually, for this one, if you're comfortable closing your eyes, I think this meditation would be more effective if you do. And simply allow yourself to be for a moment. Notice your breath. And as you notice it, bring the air more deeply into your body with each inhale. Expel it more completely with each exhale. Just let yourself relax. Allow yourself to be held by the power of this group, by the connection and the wisdom and the encouragement and the energy that is here with you right now. And I'd like you to imagine yourself in some absolutely spectacular outdoor space on some sort of a deck or a balcony. Bring the picture to your mind's eye. Really see the setting. trees or water, sand or grass, fields, whatever the setting it is drink it in. And on this balcony or deck, a huge telescope appears before you. Walk over to it and look inside. At first, it all seems a little blurry. You're squinching your eyes, trying to make out what's at the other end. Adjust the focus to notice that what you see across time and space is your full journey. In the foreground, you see the place where you started. It's crystal clear. That place where things are comfortable and safe and seemingly easy. And yet there is a longing or a discomfort there. Remember that space as you look at it. And let your eye just zoom past all of the elements of the journey until at the very last space, the farthest that you can see through this lens, is coming back to where you began. Only this time, you are fully you. You feel triumphant and proud. There are some battle scars, of course, but each one has a lesson. Each one swells your heart with pride. Notice what's in this space with you. What's different about this ordinary home base? What makes it different now than it was when you started? It might be something in the setting. It might be the people. It might be the interactions. Don't judge what you see. Just notice. And move through the space. And as you do, I'd like you to collect whatever images or feelings are important. Put them in your pocket so that when you need some encouragement on your journey, you can bring them out and recall what's coming. And with your pockets bursting with pride and success, I want you to bring your attention back to your breath. And as you do, we'll count to 5 and you can open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back. And here comes Lesley.
Well, the garbage truck is just pulled up, so they're late. They're supposed to be here much earlier than this. So let me see if I can put my ears in. Hold on one sec. Okay, let's see. It's probably pretty loud. I don't know if these are working. Can you hear me, guys?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, let me just.
I'm not hearing your garbage truck.
Hold on one second. Great. Anyway, that was great, Wendy. You did good solo flight. Very good. So I just wanted to thank everybody for coming this morning and also wish you a good week and tell you bring friends. I think there were 1 or 2 new people today, which was fantastic. This afternoon at 2 o'clock, if you want to learn about mindful leadership, Susan Purvis, and she's an explorer and an educator, and Charlie White, who they do leadership coaching out west, and she's the one who flies down and pulls people out of avalanches and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, is going to teach us about how grounding yourself creates fulfilling results, which is going to be really great. And it's actually interactive, which will be fun. And then on Wednesday, July 22nd at 2 p.m., we have Jackie Justice, who's a fabulous nutritionist. And she's going to talk to us about 4 uncommon dietary and lifestyle tips that will boost your immune system. And she's just a great person. She's written for us before. And she also knows a lot she treats a lot of women in our age group, and men too. And then we have a really great one coming Friday, July 24th at 11 a.m. And these are all Eastern Standard Time zones. Translate your corporate skills for the new entrepreneurial world. And that is Sonsalis Gonzalez. She's a former executive at P&G, and she's a founder of Better Not Younger products. And we did a podcast with her, so you can listen to that. But I thought she was so smart. She literally sat in her corporate meetings listening to P&G toss out all this research about older women and then ignore it. And when she left P&G, she was like, I'm going to take that hole in the market that they ignored. And she's launched this fabulous brand. It's great products. And she's going to really talk to us about her journey and how she did it. And then I'm going to try something different, which is kind of fun. Dr. Ken Scantleberry, who's a certified physical therapist and personal trainer and CEO of the Fit Club in New York, is going to do a little training with us. You know, I've been struggling trying to figure out how I'm going to not be at the gym because I love working out so much. Anyway, one of the CoveyClub members works with him, suggested that he reach out to me, and we're going to try a little workout. And he's going to talk to you about could your posture be impacting your health? And then maybe there's like, I don't know, a workout class we could do together. What I like is that he's a certified PT. So that's really kind of interesting. And then I have a really good friend of mine who's going to do, you guys have probably met Julian McRoberts, New Advertising Techniques for a Post-COVID World. It's what neuroscience tells us. And that's going to be Wednesday, July 29th at 2 p.m. And that's with Julian McRoberts, who's reinvented herself 100 times. Anyway, all of that is available in your letter from Lesley. It's all on the site. I hope you'll go read all the great stuff. I'm finding a lot of people don't even know that we have a website, which is CoveyClub.com. There are great articles posted there all the time. And thank you for joining us. Follow us on social media. You'll know what's happening. And thank you, Wendy. Big hand for you. That was good solo flight.
Oh, thank you. You guys are fun.
Excellent.
Love this group.
Have a good week. Ciao, guys.